Welcome to O-Talkin' with Dave. Put your hands together for the pastor of positivity whose glass is always at least half full. Here's Dave.
Hey, what's going on? I hope you're doing great. I am top shelf. Self-assessment, full disclosure, you know the drill. So the thing that I'm going to talk today about is, it's not controversial. Don't make it that way. I try to stay away from politics and religion and just stick to the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Stop it. And some of you are going to think this is religious. It's not. It's not. It may be for some. It may be a little for me, but that's not how I'm going to approach it. There are a lot of things going on that people deal with every day. No one is exempt. No one is exempt. Have you ever just been in a situation where something happens and you just look up for some reason and just shake your fist and say, why? Why me? Why now? I'm a good person. Why is this happening to me? I think we all do. At some point. If you haven't, you will. If you have, you remember it. If you're going through it right now, I'm sorry because it hurts so bad. Oh, it hurts so bad when you're in the moment. And some things come through maturity, wisdom. I'm telling you, dealing with tough times is not something you want to get good at out of repetition. However, it happens that way. So my whole premise here is you can have questions without questioning. Having questions means you're curious, you're open, you're ready to learn. I have questions. I'm very curious about things. I'm still like a child in that. If I can go to a total stranger, and if there's something that they're doing that I'm curious about, I'm going to ask. I may ask somebody beside me first, but I'm going to ask because I'm curious. It is that way. That's good. But questioning in the form of second guessing, doubting, trying to poke holes in something that's already in motion to figure it out and get answers. That's a different approach. One leads to growth, and the other leads to anxiety, mistrust. It's just not in the plan, but it's in the planner. And so that's where I get to what some may say this is religious. I'm religious. I am a Christian. I have a lot of faith. However, I do a lot of talks and people think I'm Buddhist. Southern Buddhist. Stop it. However, it's really in a mindset. And that's what I want to talk to. The mindset is there's a greater power. You can call it karma. You can call it religion. You can call it a God. You can call it the God. You can go under the guise of good things happen to good people eventually. I believe that 100%. And I'm not going to get so much into what defines a good person or the planner per se. However, once you believe that there is something working, and all the buzzwords, things happen for a reason. All of these things are around a belief in something. If you don't have a belief in anything and you're just negative, and when you die, you turn into worm dirt, there's no value in being a good person. It's predestination, whether you're good or bad, things are going to happen equally. You may just want to go fry up some bacon, and I'll join you in a little while and we'll eat that bacon because you're not going to the next 45 minutes to an hour. Okay? So my whole premise is everything works out. Everything is going to work out. It's not all going to be good. It's not going to all be bad. Sometimes that balance sheet is shifted in one direction or the other. It may not be the way we expect it, but in the way that it shapes us is what's important. Whether you call it God or fate or a greater plan or destiny or there's a path unfolding, there's a journey that's meant for me, whatever. Our job And we have to choose to accept it to get through life without pulling all our hair out. No hair jokes, please. You got to trust the path, but stay curious. So don't question it, but have questions. That's good. That reverses the title. So that's what I mean by having questions without questioning. I've got so many personal instances of where I've been called on it. Don't question me from Dad or from whoever. I'm curious about something, but don't question what we're doing. Why are we going this way to Kentucky when blah, blah, blah? They know. He knows the path. It's snowing, and this way has fewer hills, peaks and valleys, so it's safer. Don't question him. It would take him too long to explain it, and I wouldn't understand it. However, I can have questions. This a new way? I don't remember going this way before. That's fine. Why are you going this way? It's going to take so much longer. My goodness, you're lost. See the difference? All right. Just a little personal thing, maybe a little glimpse in my past. But there are reasons why questioning fate or timing or why me, why now, it's more frustrating than insightful. It's very human to do that. And we do it a lot to a certain point, and then later we either slow it down or stop it. But why is it futile? Why is it a waste of time? And we learn this. First of all, you're not going to get an answer you can use if you get an answer at all. We want an explanation we can file neatly in some mental cabinet somewhere. Like I ask it, all right, hey, that happened because of X. That happened because of Y. You're not going to get that. Life rarely hands over that tidy little answer to you when you ask it. Most of the time, the reason only makes sense years later, if ever. You're very fortunate when you find out there's why it happened, here's when it happened, and here's why now. Thank goodness it did happen. Asking why now is just like demanding a movie spoiler from the writer who hasn't even finished the script yet. Remember the Game of Thrones when the guy was actually writing the ending during the series? He couldn't give you a spoiler. He didn't know how it ended. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. So it often comes, another reason it's futile, it comes from a place of pain and not curiosity. You're not really curious. You're just mad. You're just hurt. You're disappointed. I didn't get that promotion and he did. That guy's a turd. And I'm a good guy. Why? You're not really asking that. You're just mad. We question fate, and it's rarely a logical academic experience. It's because we're hurting. We're angry. We're sad. We're scared. That emotional fog that creates, that's the why. That isn't really the question. We're protesting. It's not why. You don't want to know why. You're just mad. I'm protesting. We're not seeking wisdom. We're venting frustration at the universe because it's not according to my plan or my schedule. See the difference? That's not curiosity. Yep. Also, another reason it is futile, it's not an on-demand thing. We're not streaming answers here. You're not pulling this up and streaming something live. No, we treat life like a Netflix account. I'd like a lesson now, please, with the next day shipping. Yeah. Amazon's so good at that. Hey, I'd like this, and you know what? Can you give it to me later today? I don't want to wait till tomorrow. I'll pay extra. The bigger picture is the when and the why has nothing to do with our timeline. We couldn't handle it right now. There are chances. This is about maybe growth, maybe healing, maybe opportunity. None of that is on demand. They've all got their own pace. And patience doesn't speed them up. Impatience doesn't speed them up. I have very little patience. I documented that well. And if you need footnotes, I've got relatives that can tell you. And business associates, I am not patient. Hurry up, hurry up. Yep. And so another thing, I don't really believe in coincidence. That's how solid I am in this line of thinking. But when you're questioning and shaking your fist at God or whoever, coincidence, it's not a conspiracy against you. Humans are wired to see patterns and to talk around algorithms and all of that. We're more accustomed to that. And we think or we'll make up a pattern that it's a strategy. We think there's a cosmic memo out there that we missed. So sometimes there is a meaning. Sometimes there's not a meaning. Sometimes it's just random, and interrogating every coincidence that happens as if it is a divine riddle or plan, that can turn you into a mental basket case. It's going to leave your wheels spinning, that you're going to be so much more frustrated rather than enlightened because you're a conspiracy theorist. Somebody's out to get me. Some deity is out to get me. That doesn't sound logical. It really doesn't. And then fifthly, another reason why it's no good to question. Have questions, but don't question, because it can slide into, and it usually does slide into, self-centered thinking without realizing it. Our why now can be less about the grand plan and more about our conveniences. Why is this happening to me right now? This is in the way of my other plans. I've got some stories about that. That's the human reaction. But it shrinks the view. The bigger story might not be about you at all. You're just a player in an overall game. And it's going to affect you, but not like you think. Hold on a minute. Just hold on. Or at least it's not just about you. How many times have we said that? This is not just about you. We can't all be you. I've heard that a few times. Yeah. So the thing is, when you trust a process or a planner or the big picture, it's so much more peaceful. And sometimes it takes time. I don't think there's a lot of young people listening. Hope there are. I got to tell you, man, I'm blowing Africa up right now. I don't know what's happening. Africa and over in the Netherlands and that area. I appreciate all of you, but new listeners. South Africa is the top 10 now. Giddy up. But I think a lot of people are listening or telling other people because we're a little further down the road. And so when you trust the process that you're a part of, knowingly or not, you're not rattled by every change in direction. Man, I used to hate change. I didn't like it. That's why at one time I was going to be an accountant. There's only 10 numbers out there, and everything is you doing something with them. Then they throw letters in there, and also, anyway, I didn't like change. After a while, I got to the point to where I got bored easy. I needed change. I wanted change. I'd do something in addition to all of that. It's great. So when you trust a process that you are a part of, that you may not know all the answers, you're not rattled by every little change in direction. Also, you can explore and learn and adapt without being petrified by fear, because it's as you go. One thing, I learned to do a 3 on a tree, drive a standard on my dad's old truck. And I remember he would fix it so I couldn't start it, but it was not power steering, and I could still shift the gears, and he put the emergency brake on. We're on flat land. Don't be calling Child Protective Services, because he just passed away anyway, so you can't do it. I guess you could talk God. Whatever. I digress. But what I noticed was, I was young. I noticed I can shift the gears. I can do the clutch and the brake and all that. But if I wanted to turn, we were sitting still, and the weight on the tires, plus we didn't have power steering. Oh, it was so hard to turn. And then when my papa let me start driving, about 10 years old, I noticed, man, this turns a lot easier. It's because you're moving. You've got inertia. You've got I don't know all the physics of it, but if you're sitting still, all the weight won't let you turn. But as you're going, you turn easy. So that's the way it is with fear and understanding or accepting whatever process is out there. You can explore, you can learn, you can adapt on the fly. It's easier, and you're not crippled by fear. Also, you give your mind a place to rest instead of living that whole what if mode. What if? Oh, what if this happens? Oh, what if that happens? If you trust the process, all right, Everything happens for a reason. I don't know what we're going to hit, but man, let's run into it while we're doing something. Let's not sit here and let it hit us. If we strike out, it's going to strike out swinging. It's not going to be striking out with the bat on our shoulder. That's what trust in a process, a religion, a thought pattern. We'll just call it faith. Faith in a process. Sometimes it's faith in a person. You trust that person enough to where no matter what they tell you, you'll do it. Okay? So that's what I mean when I say the process. Faith in timing doesn't mean you're not doing anything. I'll look for a sign. So many jokes on that. But what it means, it's acting from calm instead of chaos. Faith in a process, faith in a team, faith in destiny, faith in that if I'm a good person and work hard, take care of my family, everything will turn out all right. May not be perfect, won't be perfect. However, I'll be able to sleep at night. I will. And my life will be so full. That's faith in the process. And also, when you believe that much, it gives you confidence. I can take anything that comes my way, and if I can't, I'll learn from it. If you do that, oh my goodness. I had a lot of confidence growing up because I had John. It was my buddy. I get into any scrapes, he's right there. He helped me out of it. And if he gets into any, if I can't talk him out of it, hey, at least I got a blocker. Yeah. But that confidence is contagious. And that calm is reassuring to everybody around you and to yourself. Sometimes the biggest faith we have is in our own faith. So when you carry yourself with steady confidence, people notice that. Think of people right now in your life that are calm under pressure. They have a confidence. You don't really know all about it, but you have observed it. When you think back, it's, man, they've always been that way. Problem is when they're shook, it's, oh no. If they're worried, it would be like a flight attendant that after some turbulence, she started crying. Oh no. They panic, you panic. The thing is, that calm person, they don't panic. You may panic, but their calm calms you down. You stay grounded because they've steadied themselves. Your peace becomes permission for other people to exhale and without saying it, someone says, hey, everything's going to be all right. We got this. And that's the difference in a leader and a manager too, if you want to go the whole homework play thing. You know, that calm, confident reassurance, it's contagious. And the more you have it, the more it grows over time. A few real life examples where this helps. At home, if you're waiting on a test result for a loved one or yourself, your calm presence keeps the household steady. Especially if it's about you and everybody's worried about you. If you're calm, okay. Just encountered a bunch of medical stuff. And we got a lot of bad news before we got the ultimate bad news. But it's, okay, this is what it is. This is how we'll deal with it. Sometimes you lean on each other. You lean on loved ones. Sometimes you have to be the rock. All right? Everybody's watching you. So waiting on a medical test, that's tough. Raising teenagers, my goodness. My kids know. I've said it over and over. I still say it. I don't know what we're doing. We don't have a clue. We never raised kids before. Our parents told us what to do, and we pretty much did it. And if I didn't do it, I got away with whatever I didn't do. And I'm still a good guy. But those are two things where you're trusting your guidance while staying open for questions. I remember one time my son came to me and had questions about it, and it was like, all right, here's the deal. Here's all I know. I'm the dad, and I don't know all the ins and outs. However, at some point, somebody's got to make the final decision. It turns out that's me. I think this is what's best. I've thought it through, so we're going to do this. That seemed to give some reassurance, whether they liked it or not. I told them the process. I'm not saying I was right, but that calm confidence helped them. At work, you got company changes. My goodness, in the last few years, I'm not even talking about COVID. That is just... But company changes, layoffs, cutbacks, transfers, all of those things. And then asking, what do we need to know? Instead of, what if this all goes bad? Being curious. I love the question, what question should I be asking right now? If you were in my situation, boom, that's great, because that's back and forth. That's curiosity. That's concern, rather than, what? We're all going to die. What are we going to do? It's not good. Or if you got a client or a project delays. Anybody had those? Got them all the time. Seeking updates without suspicion or blame. Offering something to help the process along without saying negative things. They're going to impact you down the road. That's having questions or curiosity without being mad or blame or impatient. And in your play, travel disruptions. We wanted to do this. It rained, or we missed our flight, or they didn't have our reservation, our tea time down, and now we're going to have to find another place to play golf. All of that. Adjusting plans without letting that frustration steal the experience, that's strong, that calm. Everything's going to be okay. Every one of these I can tell stories about how it was better, or it made me better, or the lesson I learned. It's all there. The thing is, over time, you learn to trust that it's all going to be there. And more on that. Don't want to steal my own thunder. So, how do you set your mind set up this way? Yeah, Dave, that's great for you, but I'm just not wired that way. Okay. Yeah. Okay, maybe you're not. However, we can rewire you a little bit. We can reprogram you a little bit. And I believe everything you've got to do that is in your past. I believe that's one of my foundational beliefs. But let's talk about how to set your life up for this mindset. First of all, you've got to have an anchor. You do. What do you trust? Is it a person? Is it a religion? Is it a belief system? I've said over and over, you need to write down what you believe. I've done my 10 beliefs. I've got a lot more than 10, but here's 10 things I know to be true. You can look it up and do it. No, I'm not going to go through them right now. However, I know those to be true. No doubt. Not even a pause. So that's my anchor. That's what I go back to. Yeah. I have faith in myself. I have experience. I have all these things, but I also have faith that good things happen to good people. I do. Also, second thing is you've got to separate your curiosity, which is healthy. Separate that from your fear. Fear is a horrible thing. Fear and jealousy and all these things are horrible things. They will eat you alive. They will take the best day you can have and turn it into garbage. So separate curiosity from fear. Ask to understand, not to control or not to demean or criticize. Ask to understand. That's curiosity, not the other side. Don't have an agenda. I want it to be this way, so I'm going to. The toughest thing, because I'm impatient, is give things time. Let situations develop. Respond. Don't react. That is tough. The reason it's so necessary is, not only do you not understand why this is happening, but you don't understand why this is happening now. Because you won't understand it now. Something else has to happen in your life before you can see why it happened, when it happened, and your role in it. If you believe that everything happens for a reason and they happen when they happen for a reason, all right, that's a little bit easier. A lot of times it takes a few notches in your belt to think, all right, let's just give this some time. It's got to be a reason, especially when your hair's on fire. Yeah. And another important thing is you got to choose your inputs. Drama, the rumor mill, outrage, speculation, doubt. That's why negative people, you got to get them out of your life. Toxic people, I don't care how close you are to them. You got to get them out of your life. Toxic people you cannot trust. People that are deceitful. People that will take all your good decisions and intentions and wad them up and throw them away when it doesn't feed their narrative. You got to get rid of that. You got to choose your input, both what's coming in and what's going out. That's very important. And then finally, just daily have grounding habits. I do it with my gratitude. At any given time, 3 things you're grateful for. I love it. I have a few friends. That's what we do. That's how we start. All right, give me the 3. Give me the 3. Give me 3. And you do it. It doesn't have to be big. It can be anything at all. I'm grateful you called me on this. Okay, there's one. It's a cheat, but what do I do? But it may be prayer. It may be reflection. It may be meditation. It may be Pilates or Pilates. Who knows? Do people still do Pilates? I guess so. I don't see a lot of the equipment in gyms anymore. Maybe you journal. Maybe you go for a walk. Whatever it is. Daily grounding habits are very important. Very important. It keeps you from getting caught up in the hoopla. Yeah. But the thing is, you're going to have daily pressures as well. Daily pressures that are just like, but you need to be mad. If that happened to me, I'd be pissed. I can't believe you're letting them do this to you. What about you? All right. How do you deal with that? First of all, you don't have to deal with everything publicly. You don't have to tell them everything you know. I learned early on in life, you don't have to answer the phone every time it rings. That doorbell rings, you don't have to go to the door. So when that hits, remember the bigger story in your heart. Remember, even in your head, remember, today's trouble's just today. Maybe I just need to get to lunch today. Maybe I just need to get to dinner. Maybe I just need to get to bedtime. And you know what? I got through today. Today, everything that happens today is part. We want to make it global. It's not necessarily it, and it's not good for you. Remember, it's part of the bigger story. It's not the story. Now, there are days where we get news and setbacks that are like, in time, yeah, that might have been a tipping point that everything changed for you for the better. Or maybe it gets worse, but it won't get better until that happened. You'll see that in time. Also, delay your reaction. Give something space. Understand how it's making you feel. Understand where it's coming from. Understand the spirit of something before you speak back, before you respond. Don't react, respond. Then surround yourself with calm people. Find some common sense out there. Don't be the lethal weapon where, the guy's going to jump and he goes up there and grabs his hand and goes, yeah, let's go. You don't need that. People are all around you like that. Calm people. Their energy, their calmness is contagious. And then limit the noise. Less media. Fewer emotional triggers. I've got to the point to where every day I will go on social media and I'll post. And then I get reaction through the day. And that's okay. From time to time, I'll look at it. I look to see if somebody's asked a question or respond, but I don't scroll anymore. I don't doom scroll. Nope. The only time I scroll is if I'm looking for concerts or some of the comedians or stuff, just to uplifting. Once I hit a dead one, I don't have a strike 3, you're out. I have a 2 and you're out. If I hit one negative, the next one, I'm gone. That way it doesn't build up. And I'll hit 20 positives by the time I do that. But that's also, I trust the process in that, that's the second one. Must be time to get back to whatever. That's how firm I am with this. And then finally, under how to resist that peer pressure is picture the future. How will this moment look a year from now? What? A year from now. 6 months from now. Next week. Sometimes it's even tomorrow, but you put it out there in the future and it reduces its exaggeration or its stature. I'll get past this. So there's the positive outcomes of living this way with this mindset, and it's not all easy. I don't have all the answers. I trust. I still have questions. I'm curious. I can give you chapter and verse on a lot of these, especially right now. 5 positive outcomes from living this way is more peace, less emotional whiplash. Yeah, it's like a tennis match. Oh, no, more peace. Everything's going to work out. It's going to be okay. This is just a bump in the road. I got it. Come on. I got out to the truck the other day and there's a flat tire. I had to be somewhere. Oh, now what do? I had a call I needed, a very important call to make. Like, okay, I put on the spare, but I'm about to make a long trip. So right now I've got to go get that flat fixed. There's a long wait. That person called that I needed to talk to. I texted them real quick. Woke up to a flat tire, getting that fixed. Can I call you back? I don't want us to be interrupted. Totally understood. And you know what? I thought of several things while that flat was being fixed that bolstered the conversation. It really enhanced something rather than destroyed it. So you have more peace. You also have better relationships. People trust your steadiness. When you're calm, steady, feel like you have your act together, people start to trust that. Okay, they trust your demeanor. They may trust your counsel, but they trust your presence for sure. So you have better relationships. Also, you're going to make wiser decisions. Somebody commented about, the other day I said about if you wait a little while, you have clarity. And clarity's great. You need to give clarity a hug and a kiss on the jaw. Some people thought that was funny. It's true. Clarity. Clarity destroys panic. It does. Maybe I do one on clarity. Also, greater respect. You're seen as dependable, grounded. People need those kind of people in their life. And that makes your life better. And the bookends to this, the first one was more peace. The last one is deeper joy. Joy. Joy cometh in the morning. Enjoying life without needing all the answers now. I'm going to get to that. That changed my life. That's it. You don't have to know now. You're not ready to know now. You can have a perfect explanation now, but you're not ready to hear it. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy life. So, giddy up. So, I've been there before, man. If you're in the throes of this stuff, I've been there before. I've been there recently from time to time. Just can't turn it off. What's going on? Why me? And it's rhetorical. I trust the process so much. It's rhetorical. I even say it sometimes. I'll learn from it. There's something coming. I can't wait to get the answer. But staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m, I want answers. Why? Why me? Why this? Why now? You get passed over for a promotion. I got happened years ago. I was furious. I'd worked harder than anybody. My numbers were better than anybody. I gave it to somebody that they couldn't find their butt with both hands. I kept asking, why not? What's going on? It's not my dream job, but it's a step in the right direction. And you've heard the story, but the synopsis is that job didn't work out for that person because that branch was eventually moved and closed. 6 months later, I got a branch. Thrived, number 1 in the country, gave me all kind of promotions. If I'd have got what I wanted, that would have been the end of that career. Thank goodness I didn't get what I wanted. And that was so obvious to me 6 months later. Or the time you missed a flight. I remember Uber driver made me late. He went the wrong way. He thought he was doing a shortcut. He got us caught. And I missed my flight. I don't like missing flights. I'm scheduled. That's more me than anything else. There's plenty of flights. However, I missed my flight. The flight they put me on, I sat next to this sweet lady who calmed me down. There was a seat next to her that was empty. And she said that was for her husband. And said that I didn't remember that seat in a while for takeoff or whatever. And she let me know they take a trip to Vegas every year and for their anniversary. And they did it for almost 60 years. They would go somewhere on their anniversary, but most of them were to Vegas. And he passed away. She was going anyway, even bought him a ticket. And that time with that lady calmed me down and touched me and made me feel so little for getting upset about missing one flight that would delay me less than an hour and a half. And I was ready to kill an Uber driver when the blessing came from all that adversity. Every once in a while it just shows up. Sometimes soon, sometimes it's weeks later, sometimes it's months later. Some things I think probably years later. And then you go, oh, that's why. That's why it happened to me. That's why it happened then. And you put the pieces back together very cleanly. And then you wonder back to, why didn't I not see this? Because I was emotional. I wanted answers. Now when something unexpected happens, I try to stay curious. I'm not desperate for immediate answers because I can't handle them anyway. The answer is just hold on. You'll see. Have some faith. Have some trust. Be calm. People need you right now. So I've learned the whys arrive on their own timetable. And when they do, they don't just explain, they reframe it all. Wow, it's not as I remembered it on that day. It's not as big as it was on that day because now I see the plan. So now it's an odd sense of anticipation of what's next. I'm going through some really crazy stuff, and I don't share personal stuff like this on here. I'm going through some crazy stuff, and I actually am eager to see how it turns out. Answers are out there. They're already written somewhere. I got to find them. But I'll do it on the fly. I just hadn't caught up to them yet. But I trust when I'll do, I'll be glad I waited. Yep. Years ago, I went through a stretch where I thought I was doing the right thing, but everything was uncertain. Big changes. Work, newly married, bills piling up. Everything seemed so clear on my path. Now it's falling apart. And I was thinking, again, why? Why me? Why now? Why this? I'm a good person. Why? And I'm yelling at God. I'm yelling at everybody. My relationship with God, my prayers are more like a debate and a confrontation. Because that's how I communicate. And it's, hey, you know my heart, but I need to say it. This is for me. So everything was just falling apart. I really didn't have a lot of patience or hope or anything going on in this place. So I lived in Kentucky at the time. I went out to my granddad's farm just to walk around. I didn't even know if I was going to talk to anybody or whatever. So I went out, parked the car, walked around, and went to just some areas where we would go. Areas of calm for me. I grew up going out there. It's fantastic. And I saw him up on the porch. He could tell. He knew something was up. So he just sat there and listened. That's what he did the best. And I just let him know what was going on. And I said, I don't understand. Moved off my new wife. I moved up here. All this going on. Now this has happened. And this is going on. And classic Papa. He said, I don't know much. He did. I don't know much, but I do know I don't have to have all the answers today. I just keep working hard and take care of my family. And I know those answers will come when I need them, not when I want them. That's all he said. Wow. It was true then. It's true now. That day I decided to stop questioning so much and start having questions. What could I have done differently? What is my role in this that I can keep this from happening again? Yeah, but I didn't have to distrust who's pulling the levers. Looking back, I can see how things perfectly unfolded then for everything, for me, for my family, for everything. And I just put so much unnecessary stress while we're going through the process. So here's what I've learned. Let me try to put it in a nutshell. Curiosity will open doors, but trust builds the road beneath you. That's your stability, that trust. Curiosity is great. You can open a door, but you've got to be on firm footing. And your firm footing is trust that everything's going to be all right. Good things happen to good people. Have questions, stay curious, keep learning. That's going to help too. That's going to help with your calmness and your confidence. But don't let your calm wane. Your calm and that firm footing of your trust is going to be that anchor when a storm hits. For yourself, everybody's watching you. You may be going through something for somebody else's benefit so they can see how to handle it when they go through it, because you can take it. When you live this way, your life just, it says to the world, peace, calm, joy in the fire. I got a couple of stories I'll tell eventually that are exactly this. Deal with people going through crazy, ridiculous stuff. And I just said a few things that I'm going through, and they're like, whoa, that's so much worse. And I didn't think it was. It's because of the trust and a firm foundation. All right. I don't have all the answers, but I have the peace. And that's enough. I know the answers will come when I need them. I hope this has helped in some way. And if it doesn't now, it will, because we all have challenges. So thanks so much for hanging out. Hit me up at david@otalks.com or dave@otalks.com if you got any comments, questions. I love them. Let me hear them. And then, hey, website, all the other stuff. So thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you more than. Thanks for O Talking with Dave. Giddy up.